the fastest way to God consciousness. Actually, it doesn't take any time. It is already present. And I want to keep it practical so that it doesn't become a philosophy or a theory or something to talk about or think about. It is already present, but the problem is most of us are hypnotized by the mind so that we don't notice its presence. But it simply takes a conscious choice of not being hypnotized to be one with the thing that a lot of modern spiritual teachers call God consciousness. So when you simply make the decision to not be lost in thought, you can be aware of the present moment. And I'm not saying that you have to choose a certain object in this present moment, although it can be a good starting point to do so, but you can be simply aware of the silence that is here already. And then what can happen is that there is a realization that the silence that you're aware of and the awareness that is aware of the silence are not two things. When there's an absolute silence in the mind, that very silence is the same silence that is present in the whole universe, in between the forms. So it is not that you are present, but presence is you. Or it's not that you are conscious, but consciousness is you. So consciousness is expressing itself as the form that you call you. And it's not so that you are experiencing life and choosing what happens in life, but consciousness can, now that you're awake, act through you. And a different realization that happens when you are awake is that the forms that are here appearing no longer feel as if they are other than you. It feels familiar. It doesn't have to be something that you remember from the past in your mind, but it's not just something you believe as if you are believing in a philosophy. It is an experience that whatever is appearing feels familiar, as if you know it very intimately. Not in a way that you know about it, like Eckhart Tolle was giving the example of honey. You can either know honey and you can become a doctor of honey. You can, just know a lot of things about honey, or you can taste honey and then really intimately actually experience it. That's a more intimate, more alive kind of knowing. And that's how you experience the whole world. So when you look at a tree, it doesn't feel like it's a tree that is out there and different from me. Of course, I see it from a certain perspective. It's not. I'm not the tree. This body is not the tree, of course. But when there is the experience of tree, then it is just one with me. It's there's using words to explain this is not really very efficient, but we don't have a different tool. And to keep it practical, just be awake. Just relax and don't fight the mind. But when you see that the mind is hypnotizing you, you don't have to fight against the mind. So if distractions happen, don't worry about that. It's just that when there is a noticing of the distraction happening, just be here again. And that's how you uncondition or decondition your mind. Now what happens is also that when you're waking up, you can have we could say an awakening that only happens on a mental level. So or let's say on a conscious level, or let's call it, it's a mind level. So you become aware that, okay, I don't have to think, I'm present right now, but there is still something happening in the body. So the old feelings of the ego are still in the body. It's like an emotional signature of the ego is still stored in the body. So in order to decondition that away, just become aware of it without thinking about the story that the feeling is trying to tell you, or to tell, to when there's, for example, there's a strong sensation in the body, and then the mind says, oh, I'm feeling so negative because my cat died, or I'm feeling so I'm worried because I don't know if I'm going to lose my job. Just see that it's not necessary to worry, and simply become aware of the pain and really go through that pain, but stay present. By present, I mean just be here in the silence, and in the silence, be aware that this silence is also expressing itself as the pain right now. So you simply become aware of it, and then over time, over chronological time, it will dissolve. You see? But this is basically the direct access to God consciousness. The silence that you are, the presence that you are, is not different from the silence that is present in the whole universe. The mind gives us an ability to stretch awareness from here to there, to be aware of this and not this. But the silence, or the consciousness, or the field in which this attention can, play around, is always here, and it's always the same. When you stay in this, at first it will be a little bit difficult to stay in this. But it's a good choice to decide to stay in this, so you can so you can stop believing in your false sense of self, which means that you get rid of suffering. But when you then stay as this, you'll get the feel of being at home. And the world doesn't feel threatening anymore. Of course, if there is a real threat perceived, you'll know how to act. But some people, most people, do have the strange ability, and I'm not saying that I don't have this ability, I'm just saying that it is actually strange if you think about it. Have the strange ability to be at home, everything's calm, everything's alright, but there's still a worry. People feel threatened because something could happen. Because something happened in the past and it could happen again, right? So, but if you, and that's like a certain thing that happens in the brain, and the more this happens in the brain, the stronger it gets. And when you become present and you are identifying yourself as this silence or this presence, then the brain will stop doing this more and more. I'm using simple language. So stay awake. Don't worry if you get distracted, it's normal. It's just that you don't have to achieve the thing or a state called enlightenment or God consciousness. Know that it's already here. It's not limited to this specific form. The consciousness is everywhere. You just have to make sure that you are not hypnotized by the mind, so that you can enter or realize the unity. So that when you have a conversation with someone, it doesn't matter with whom, you'll not feel like you're speaking with someone else. What does this person think? Does this person even like me? Stuff like that. Because as soon as you think about this, what does this person think about me? Does this person even like me? Maybe they talk about me behind my back. And it could happen, but once you think about that, people like that, then you actually become the problem. You will be the reason why the relationship won't work, or the friendship won't work. Because you're not thinking about an actuality. You are just worrying. So when you are present and you're talking to someone, it doesn't feel like you are talking to someone else. It feels like you're talking to yourself in a different form. Your essence is also there, experiencing life through a different perspective. And that's a natural experience. You see? So as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself from a different experience and perspective, actually. So, yeah. Stay awake, have a good day, and see ya.